Manitobans can hear the Premier heckling once again on the mic. Yeah, that's who he is. He's a bully.
That was PC leader Abi Khan at estimates last month, and NDP.
When you ride into office on a wave of historic victory and progressive promises, the only direction left to go is down. And that is exactly what is happening to Manitoba Premier Wab Kinew right now. The man who made history as Manitoba's first First Nations Premier is watching his approval ratings slide faster than a Winnipeg driver on black ice, and the reasons why tell us everything about the brutal reality of governing versus campaigning. Quick favor, if you're loving this, hit that subscribe button and smash the notification bell to keep getting the latest updates on Canadian and UK politics. Cheers if you did. Now back to the show. Let us rewind to October 2023, shall we? Wab Kinew and the Manitoba NDP swept into power with a decisive victory that felt like a political earthquake. After years of progressive conservative rule under Brian Pallister and then Heather Stefanson, Manitobans were ready for change. They wanted healthcare fixed.
Premier Wab Kinew talking over him.
We can just look back to the Premier's past and see this. He's nothing but a bully. Nothing but a bully that the Premier wants to say. Now the Premier is trying to, I don't know, emotionally attack me for saying that I've cried.
They wanted infrastructure investment. They wanted a government that actually seemed to care about regular people. And Kinew promised all of that with the charisma and communication skills that made him a political star. The honeymoon period was glorious. Approval ratings were sky high. The media was largely positive. Manitoba had hope again. Fast forward to today, and that honeymoon is definitely over. Reality has come knocking, and it brought a bill that is proving rather expensive. So what went wrong? Well, nothing catastrophically wrong, which is almost the problem. Kinew has not had any major scandals. He has not been caught in corruption. He has not said anything wildly offensive or made any career-ending mistakes. What he has encountered is something far more insidious for a politician, the grinding reality of governance.
In the House, yeah, I don't care. So what? This Premier himself wants to continue to heckle and bully, and now I know you can't hear it at home, but he's sitting there saying, call him dad, call him dad. I don't know, maybe that's what he gets his members to call him.
But Khan also bears responsibility.
It's out. Fixing decades of healthcare underfunding, infrastructure neglect, and social problems is rather harder than promising to fix them on the campaign trail. Who could have possibly predicted that? Let us start with healthcare, because that was Kinew's biggest campaign promise. He vowed to fix Manitoba's emergency rooms, reduce wait times, and make the system work for people again. Noble goals, absolutely. But here is the thing about healthcare, it is like trying to repair a ship whilst it is sinking. You need more doctors, but training doctors takes years. You need more nurses, but they are burned out and leaving the profession. You need better facilities, but construction takes time and costs a fortune. Kinew has made some progress, hiring more staff and reopening some emergency departments. But for the average Manitoban sitting in an emergency room for 8 hours with a broken arm, those incremental
seems he was trying to get under Kinew's skin.
The pit bull attack dog that he is, the toxic bullying leader that he is. Well, if you wanted to talk about what is a joke, I think the Premier just needs to look in the mirror. I will go on.
Improvements feel invisible. They want results now, not in 3 years when the policies finally bear fruit. Then there is the cost of living crisis, which is hitting Manitobans just as hard as everyone else in Canada. Grocery prices are astronomical. Housing costs are climbing. Fuel prices are ridiculous. And whilst these are largely federal issues driven by inflation and global markets, provincial premiers get blamed anyway. That is the joy of being in government. You own every problem, even the ones you did not create and cannot fully control. Kinew has tried to provide relief through tax measures and programs, but when your rent goes up $200 a month, a small tax...
And the Premier's criminal record. If we want to talk about records and we want to talk about the past, we can talk about the Premier's criminal record.
Order, please. I certainly hope that the leaders will set a better example to their caucuses.
A political expert says both men acted inappropriately.
It's actual outright hostility. It's tough on Manitoba.
Credit feels like bringing a water pistol to a forest fire. But wait, there is more. Infrastructure in Manitoba is a disaster that has been decades in the making. Roads full of potholes that could swallow a small car. Aging water systems. Crumbling schools. Kinew inherited all of this from previous governments who kicked the can down the road so many times it ended up in Saskatchewan. Now he is supposed to fix it all whilst managing a budget that does not have infinite money. Shocking revelation: governing requires trade-offs and tough choices. Every dollar spent on roads is a dollar not spent on healthcare or education. Every project prioritized means another project delayed. And every community that does not get what they want becomes another group of dissatisfied voters. Here is where the political reality gets brutal. When you are in opposition, you can promise the world. Fix everything, help everyone, make life better across the board. But when you are actually in government, you face constraints. Budget constraints, time constraints, political constraints, bureaucratic constraints. And suddenly, those sweeping
Opens to see that.
While question period is known for rigorous debate, the Speaker of the House can keep the peace. But at an estimates meeting, the referee's powers are limited. Paul Thomas is a political scientist.
When it comes down to shouting,
promises run into the immovable object of reality. This is not unique to Kinew, mind you. Every government faces this. But Kinew came in with such high expectations and such ambitious promises that the gap between expectation and delivery feels particularly stark. The opposition is also having a field day, naturally. The Manitoba Progressive Conservatives, still licking their wounds from electoral defeat, have found their voice again. They are hammering Kinew on every issue, pointing out every shortcoming, amplifying every complaint. That is opposition politics 101. And in Manitoba's current political climate, with people feeling economic pain and frustrated about services, that opposition messaging is landing. People are more receptive to criticism when they are already unhappy about their own situations. Social media has not helped either. Every hospital
at one another and insulting one another, that doesn't help anybody. If anything, it turns the public off.
The feuding between Kinew and Khan may have started in 2023 with this
wait time horror story gets shared thousands of times. Every pothole photo becomes a viral post. Every frustrated citizen becomes a megaphone for discontent. Kinew's government is governing in an era where every failure is amplified and every success is forgotten by the next news cycle. It is political whack-a-mole on expert difficulty mode. But here is the thing that makes the situation particularly interesting: Kinew's decline is not necessarily about him being a bad premier. By most objective measures, his government is doing reasonably well. They are making progress on their promises. They are managing the province competently. There have been no major disasters. But in politics,
Khan said Kinew swore and shoved him. Kinew denied it, calling it a tense verbal exchange. Then Khan became PC leader in April. Kinew never congratulated.
Perception matters more than reality. And right now, the perception is that things are not getting better fast enough. People are impatient, understandably so. They have been waiting for improvements for years under previous governments, and they expected Kinew to be the solution. When that solution takes longer than expected, disappointment sets in. The question now is whether Kinew can reverse this trend. Can he communicate his successes better? Can he manage expectations while still maintaining optimism? Can he deliver enough tangible results to rebuild public confidence? These are the challenges facing his government right now, and they are not insignificant.
You don't want to reach out?
No.
Why not?
No one ever reached out and congratulated me.
Khan is expressing some regret over his conduct at estimates.
Manitoba's next election is still years away, which gives him time to turn things around. But political momentum is a tricky thing. Once it starts moving against you, reversing it requires more than good policy. It requires political skill, communication mastery, and often, a bit of luck. Thanks for watching. Folks, this is Epic Icons News, where politics gets real.